Hey everybody, welcome back. And this will be a revisit here for two reasons. I want to show you guys something. I'm going to zoom it in here until I start solving because I want to be able to look at my hands and make sure I'm in the frame. But this is the Daedalus cube. I've done a video on it before, but I wanted to come back to it because one, I have what I believe is probably one of the best Daedaluses that exist. Not a flex as much. Well, yeah, it is a flex. I'm proud of this one. And I'll tell you the story of that, the provenance, right? And then I'm going to do another solve on this because I'm way more in tune with how I can solve this thing without really looking at it. I filmed this once already and failed, so that's probably a bit of a boast because I can't seem to do it right now. But yes, I do know the solve on this well enough to go step by step and actually show you properly now how to get in and out of this thing. Because I did get some feedback from a few people in the last video that when I, confused myself towards the end on it, that I confused them as well, and that's understandable. So let's talk about this cube. It's nice and loose there. You see that? I'm in better humidity, plus this is a version 2. So there was 2 runs of these, and the second version had some changes made, and they needed to make a prototype for that. So I was given the whole story on this one by a former worker at Cubic Dissection that runs the Baz company, the chopsticks, and they make puzzles and building blocks so you can make your own puzzles, and you should check them out. But they told me all about this, that when they made the second run, they ordered the woods that they were going to get, and when they got what am I thinking of this? I forgot, the rosewood they needed to make the main ones. They were given a board of sapwood, which is like a rare form of a wood. A lot of woods will have a sapwood variant, and that's the cream here that you're seeing. And the board was enough to make 1.5 Daedaluses. So they were going to make the prototypes to make sure they worked good with it. And these were in the RPP program in February, I believe, on the Cubic Dissection Marketplace auction. And this one went for $500. I didn't win it. I was actually fighting for it and lost, not knowing that I could have just done another bid, but who knows if the other person would have kept bidding. But I actually did get it from them eventually. I traded a hardwood Jatoba one for it, and they appreciated that one, and I also kind of did another deal with them too to kind of sweeten it up. But this one here is the one of the 2 that is complete sapwood, is what I'm explained. The board was enough to make 1 fully all sapwood pieces and 1 with about 70%. So this is the one where every piece has sapwood in it. And let's go ahead and get into solve. There's another one out there made in canary wood. It's a one of a kind. So they're both one of a kinds, but this reminds me of the marble wood that was used to make the original ones. And sapwood, honestly, is kind of a rare thing. If you've ever seen, well, you can see that. I don't know if it's on his channel, but What Did I Get Myself Into has that one-of-a-kind one. Go check his solve channel out. We do things a bit differently, so it might be a nice switch up. And then D. Dixon made a blinded and sapwood that a friend of mine has, and it's absolutely stunning. So let's get into the solve here. You notice this one piece keeps sliding. There's 2 pieces you can move right out the beginning. Sometimes it's hard for me to get my bearings to start on this thing. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. This piece comes out. That piece starts to move. So I know that it's these pieces now. There we go. So you move this piece and this piece. So you have the easy move, and then the hard move is over here on the left. And it allows this cube inside to move around. And once that cube gets right to about here, it allows the opposite of this one to go up because there's a track here. It goes like an L, and there's a pin on this. So when it's here, it's locking this piece in place. When it gets right to here, it lets it out. And then you can push it all the way out. So now I'm going to actually zoom out a bit so that you can really see, and I can look at my hands now while I solve. So I'm moving it around a lot, but what you're looking for is this piece right here. That's going to orientate us to do the solve from this direction. Okay, so you got a piece sticking out here, you got this loose cube, and then you got these 2 pieces, kind of like a duck face. All right, So the first thing you're going to do is move this cube and turn it so that this is sticking out here and puts the other pin inward. That leaves it smooth on the inside. Then you're going to push these guys back down and it's going to drop that cube in, okay? And what we need to do is roll this cube internally this way so the top turns towards us. So to do that, we have to release it from the grooves it's in these two pieces. And how we do that is we're going to go ahead and bring it back up and then hold it in place, push this one down, and now it turns. See, it's loose now. Let that go ahead and drop. You're going to pick this piece back up and use the pin right here to kind of slide this cube a little bit under this one, which allows that piece to come back out. Now the cube is loose from all the pins holding it in place. And what you want to do is roll it, okay? Or not roll it, we already rolled it, sorry. You want to go ahead, well, yeah, we need to roll it. So we're going to go ahead and roll it towards us. Like I said, I had spoke about it, but I hadn't actually done it yet. So you're just going to take it, and you see that? I'm just rolling it that way. So you should see that notch and that line there. And then over here, you'll see this little notch and then this pin. And then we want to slide it back under this piece a little bit so we can get this piece back down. And we're going to push it into it. Push this all the way down so it's just connected to this now, and we're going to pull up on all of it, the cube and that piece, and it's going to pop it out just like that. And you're going to want to remember that it came out with that notch on top. So I'll show you what it looks like when we put it back in so you're not confused. But now we have these guys loose. We have this guy here. We want to take this piece and get it out of the way so we can compress this section. So we're going to go ahead and roll it back the way it was. And then we're going to take the piece that's naturally above it with this hole right here. We're just going to place it in place, grab it as a whole, pick it up, and slide it over this way. Pull these out of the way. It's right where this cube was a moment ago, and we're going to slide it out this direction here. So it's coming out the top. That's going to open up this space in here now, all the way down. So we're going to take these guys and put them together now. Keep that out of the way. And if you look, we can kind of start to close this. Okay, we got to get everything here. But it doesn't want to close completely because of this guy here. So we're going to lift this piece up, go in, and then go back down because there's a groove connection here. So now that will close all the way. See? And then this bar right here will slide right out. And this cube right here doesn't seem to have a sapwood mark on it, but it's the same wood as the rest here. So that's the one thing that threw me off on that claim, I was told. But this one here has sapwood, and then that piece is free. Okay. We're going to lift this back up to release this L piece again, the L here, go back down, lift it up, and do the same thing we just did with this piece. Push it together, slide it out, marvel at that beautiful sap, and put it to the side. And now we just have these two pieces, the cube in here, the cage, and then this guy that's been sliding, right? But if you slide and turn that way, this guy just comes right up off the track. Look at that, it's like a candy cane. I never thought about that. All right, and now we're going to do these two pieces. We want to keep these guys together and memorize them together. So we come out this way, and it gets here, you can just lift up and pull them. They create this, and you want to remember this. They create a pin on top here, pin on bottom here, and an exclamation point. Now, if you want to be brave and take them apart and mix it all up, go for it. But if you're watching this to figure out how it's done, I would leave them together. I can mix it all up and do it. Like I said, I've done this a million times. This one here, you just slide out. There's a trick to this one, okay? You want to remember that there's pins going in an array away from you. All right, and I'll get to that. And then here's the cage. this is what you're left with to marvel all of this routing. This was all done by hand, I believe, and the level of detail is just astonishing. And then, you know, to make the notches, to make it look like cubes and everything else in here. So before we forget what's going on with it, let's get it back together. Now, the big tell for this is, remember when we pulled this out, we just put a piece on top of it and slid it away. So that means that it's going to align with everything already. There's no rotating. So you want the bottom grain, you know, not the side grains. You want this lined up. That's your clue. A lot of people have messed that up before. And since we know that the pins are in an array away from us, we just put it in like that, right? The next step would be these guys. Since you probably took my advice and left them together, we can just put them right here and then slide them straight over. And it'll go right into that groove there, and then we can go down, okay? Then we got to put the candy cane back in. You're going to put these two right here and here so it fits. It's just going to slide like that. Now we got to put this stuff back together. We know that the L came out second, so that means it needs to go back in first, okay? So we're going to put it just like we had it before. Oops, just like that, right? We're going to pull back and down, and now it's in the track. We have to pull that up to get it back in here again so we can get the next piece in. And that's going to be this one. You want to face, well, you probably don't have a sapwood. I'm going to face the sapwood outward. Outward would be this way. So we're going to go like this, go in here, get the groove here, you know, or you could go like that, either or. And then if you pull out, it stands up. That's where you want it. Now we lift this up to let this piece out, okay? And now we're back to where we were right after we pulled this cube out. So we want to use this piece and this guy here to move them back over here. So we're going to go ahead and spread these guys back out. We're going to push that over a little bit, get that piece back in place, take it like that. We're just going to slide it as a unit. Oops. Right here and down there, and now you get that grain. We're going to lift up, and then we got to get the last cube in, and we know this is a problem, so let's go ahead and turn that in advance, okay? And we're going to go ahead and set that down because that was there when we did it. And then this guy here, don't squeeze the cage when you're trying to pull this one out, it'll just be sticky. This one takes this piece, and it was obviously keyed in like this, but we had a notch at the top. So you got to figure out the orientation. You got to have a notch at the top. So we're going to slide this down because it can go right across this guy, right? We're going to go ahead and slide it over eventually. Make sure everything's out of its way. Well, I don't know why I'm sliding it over. Yeah, oh yeah, we want to get this, we got to slide this piece out of the way. So it's going to go over, like I was saying, a little bit there, finally, and get that piece loose. Now you can put it in the middle and everything is loose. Since we turned it towards us, we need to turn it away. So we're going to take this pin here and go that way with it, which will reveal grain, the bottom grain. So let's go ahead. Now it's easiest to do this like this, where gravity is pulling these two pieces out of your way. And make sure that cube doesn't pop down and get in the way. But I'm going to make it work. Now we're going to turn it. I want you to see it. There we go. Like that. And now you have the grain there. See? So again, it slides under this piece a little bit. This piece goes down all the way in. That goes into it. That slaps down. And then use your finger in this hole to slide that cube up, right? And then you'll push that into place. Slide it out and then fix this piece right there. And now you can slide it right back in. Now all you have to do is remember the L track move, keep that cube in place and push it all back in. So let's pull up the pieces. Remember this one here? It has to go in on an L, and this piece needs this piece down here up to actually move. So we go ahead and, it's kind of hard to show, but we're going to put that L right back there. You know, use that to push that piece in. We can then push it all the way up to here, which now we can push that piece in and that piece in. And that is the Daedalus cube. That's how you solve it. Hopefully this was a lot easier to follow for those of you that, you know, struggle to reset or solve this one. So hopefully it helps. There you guys go.